Okay, we don't have ours.
Well, now, I think it'd be good to get started. What do you think, Guy?
Yes, we are live now.
Okay, so Guy is moderating today, and is Greg showing up to help you, or are you solo?
I think it was reversed, by the way. But okay, we can start. Okay, hello everyone. Today we have one of our family. He's going to. Okay, he's great student in our class. In fact, I prefer not to name him as student. He has a great personality, and also he has the kindness to share with us some interesting things today. Jonathan, please, the time is yours.
Thank you for the intro, and hopefully everyone will enjoy today. So we'll just share the screen. So hopefully you can see the screen. Just give us a little yes. Nods. Yeah, awesome. So why did I want to share this? Well, few sessions back, we was talking about how we can just tell our own story to people, and one of those ways is creating a portfolio, building your online presence. So I came across an interesting video as well from also known in the part of the YouTube data community, was at Alex the Analyst, and he showed a little bit about creating a portfolio with GitHub and Visual Studio. So I just wanted to, I played around a little bit, and I was able to do it, and I've added a few additional points of my own into this, what I'm going to share as well, and go into a little bit more detail, and hopefully it will give you something that you can use yourself to create your own portfolio. And when I'm going through, it'd be a little bit interactive, maybe, that if you have questions, because it could get quite complex or quite busy on the screen. So if you have a question, put it in the chat, and I'm sure Guy will spot those questions coming through. So first, yeah, it's going to be with GitHub and Visual Studio Code, and we'll go next slide. So you will need a GitHub account, and you also need, you don't need to, but I prefer to pull, at least initially, with Git Bash, install Visual Studio Code. And to help set up your Git Bash account and your Visual Studio Code, we can use an awesome predefined way of going through the steps, and it was also in one of the ML pipeline lessons as well, that we can go back and review how setting up the tool GitHub with your key as well. If there's time at the end, we can definitely touch on that initial setup. And what we are looking here, so some resources as well. I've also got a couple of website template sites, a few details on how you can code with HTML, and then also the link here. I can share these slides in our family Slack later on, so you have all the links, and another on GitHub's documentation on connecting to or creating your key for connection between your device and GitHub. So that was just the short intro. So what we will do first, I will go to GitHub, and what we need to do, we need to create a create a repository, but we create the repository in this case with your name, your username, and then we do the .github.io. And then in there, you can just directly put a README file. So what I will do for this, I will create a new repo and just put it as, yeah, I'll just put it as test. And then we can just create that repository. And we will just give it a README. And we'll just commit the new file. So that's our repository that is currently now set up for us to put our website in. So what does our website need? Just to go through some basics on what we would need in it. We generally, the initial landing page is the index, and then from our index we can then have multiple different pages that we can link to. So we will always have an index page to land on, and that's where we can share our initial selves. So questions before I go on? Just a quick round. Okay. Nope. Okay.
Jonathan, I was only asking, our Slack gets so busy now, it might be hard to find this little PowerPoint you put together for us. However, I think most people know how to get to your GitHub, especially after this. Can you put those PowerPoint slides on your GitHub?
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you.
So what I will do now, so in the directory where I want to store my portfolio or your web page, you see here I've got one here, the .github.io. So I have that folder, but what I want to do, I want to connect to the new repo that I've just created for us to go through. So I'm going to do git bash, and so we're going to clone that repository that we just created. So we're cloning it. So this is the git command is here. This is the git command we can use, and then it's just your username and which repository that you want to copy. So once that's cloned, you will see that now we have a folder created, or a Git folder that we've just cloned from our GitHub, and in there you'll see that it has the Git and the README that we've created. So this is the first step of a pipeline, so to say. So then what we would want to do is, once we've launch our Visual Studio Code, and then navigate to your workspace. So you can, so in this case, I already have it open, but you can create or search into new workspaces to put your folders in. And I'm going to sign out, and hopefully I can get back in. So just to show you the connection process. So in Visual Studio Code, why it's we can connect to our GitHub. So by initially we can go to View Palette, and we can do publish and push to Git, and we can click on the Git in our command, and then we come up to another page, and here we click continue, and then there'll be a key to copy, and we can then connect. So I'm going to take it off screen at the moment, so the code stays private. And
Jonathan, I just want to ask real quick, Jonathan. You're showing some slick ways to integrate your code inside Visual Studio Code with GitHub. But
Yep.
there's really multiple, and I love this, but just to clarify, there are multiple ways to just integrate with GitHub inside and outside of Visual Studio Code, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Click the wrong one. Let me try it again now. Okay, it's not going to connect now for some reason, and that was something I didn't want to happen. Sorry. There we go. And then what we can do, so the next thing is, now we've got should have our connection set up. What we can do, the next thing is to choose what template do we want to use. So I'm just going to go across and share here. So this one is an example from Lewis Owen, and this is also hosted on Git. So you can see here that it's hosted on GitHub. And here, just to look through a little bit, so he's used this particular template, and just to show some of his what he's using in his website, and all different projects which will lead to different articles, and he's got a little intro about himself and a small timeline. And I will share. So built mine in a similar, with a different template, and then all different projects that I've done, and a little about me, and then I will share how we can create all these different things to keep it, or tell your story to people. So have this, one of the resources that mentioned in the PowerPoint, we have this html5.up.net, and these are all various templates that we can use, or that are free to use, and they are bootstrapped, so they will also be redefined when people are looking either on the larger screen, or on a tablet, or mobile phone. So anyone from the family would like to choose a template that we could go through?
I think you should ask someone to choose. Name them. It's better than give it open.
Okay.
That one says only type it.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're just we'll just download this one then.
I'd like to suggest a different dynamic today. As you can tell, Jonathan could go through his example the whole 2 hours. So I think do interject questions as he goes if you want to.
So just extracting the zip. And then what I'll do, I'll just copy all of those documents into our Git folder. And it looks like okay, we got to push. And what you can see is that because we'll go back into Visual Studio Code, you can see here now there's 45 changes pending. So we can now, and here you can see these all change, the greens, the new files. So we can now push those to our Git. So here is the connection to the GitHub, and these are the different repos that you have if you want different folders available. And
Jonathan, sorry for interruption, but I think Tom, he has something to say. Tom, you have your hand up.
Thank you, Guy. And I was trying to be a better citizen and quit interrupting. So thanks for taking my hand. Jonathan, the way I understand this, you just loaded a template that took a lot of hard work off of us in, like, yeah, we could have all done the studies and learned all that, but now we can, all these files you loaded, they're now fill in the blank instead of write from scratch, correct?
Correct.
And here, just to summarize what you said, we have three major steps. We have the GitHub repo for our personal profile. That means whenever we have new modifications, still we have the versioning, and we are able to push it whenever it's ready.
Yeah.
The template, it's used because it's HTML template and responsive HTML template. That means it will be it can be navigated from mobile and other things, and only we have to fill our personal information on it. And all of this, it will be reflected into the GitHub. That means the GitHub environment, it will be the hosting for this personal profile. Now, this is the three major elements that we have: the hosting, the repo, and the Visual Studio Code to help us, and the template, which is contain all the information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Correct. So then here we see this tick. So we can.
Sorry, Jonathan, once again, Yogita, please.
Jonathan, I just wanted to ask, do we need to follow some directory structure for this?
Yes. So directly in your repo, the index must be in the parent directory.
Okay.
So
then what do you
then
exactly mean by that?
so when we go, let me go bring up the Git, and I will bring up my .io. So this here, so you could say that the very first page, or when you open your Git, your repo, this is the parent folder, and then these are the child folders or the subfolders. The index needs to be in this point.
Okay.
Needs to be visible here in the front.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So then we're gonna commit these, and we're gonna say we want to stage, and then here we can put a comment in why we're gonna commit these to our website. So we can just put just here initial files and press enter. And then if everything goes well, right, so now what you'll see here is we can now push our commit. And we click on the arrow and click OK. And then if everything has worked correctly, okay, it went too fast. You see now there's no more commits in here. And we see everything here has no GitHub changes. You see, there's no indication. So this means our files that are on our local and on the Git are the same version, are the same. So I will now go into our test. And you see now everything has now been pushed. And you see our index is right at the front, and our subfolders are here. Clear for everybody? Any questions?
Jonathan, this is Jaya. The index.html, is it different from the other one that you showed us in the main page that you showed with all the projects folder and all the other stuff? Is that two different things?
Yes, no. So it is an index that also has an index. So I can go in twice. So, but it will just have a different set of code to it. So depending on what template you've chosen or how you've defined your index, it will all be different. But so but the repo naming is very important. Only this indicates that it's going to be a web page to your repo, and you can only have one of these.
Okay.
And then, as you see here, it also has an index.
Correct. So there are two different index HTML, correct?
So there's one. So it's So these are two different index HTMLs, and in there is the code.
I see.
But they're two different. They're two different websites, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, potentially,
I
yes.
see. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I wanted to emphasize, Jonathan, and I mean, I think you'll completely agree, but just let me know if you don't. I wanted to emphasize for the family, this covers so many, this is the implementation side of tons of things we've talked about. Your online portfolio can be managed from here. Your elevator statement, the things we learned about I Am Remarkable from Giovanna, on and on. This is wonderful because it's how we implement so many things we've helped each other as a family to emphasize. And that's why I was super excited for Jonathan to give this today. And then we get to become better storytellers over time.
Yeah.
But what's cool about this isn't like a LinkedIn post that has a half-life, a short half-life. This is perpetual. Anyone searching on Jonathan and his work will land here. And the same for you guys.
Yep. Jaya, is that cleared up for you?
Yes. So
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. So now we know our connection is working between our local and GitHub. We can now get into some creative, almost into some creative points. So what the first thing in Visual Studio Code, what we need to install first, and there's many applications. So in here, I already have it installed here. I have Live Server, and that will recreate like your local server, or turn your web browser into a local server so that we can view live editing on our web page to see how it's going to look. So think of it, those that use Japata notebooks, that when you connect at the top, it opens in your local host. So this is no different, but we just have to download an extension for it within VS Code, and you can just type in here Live Server, and then you can just click install, and it will install itself, and it may prompt for a refresh, and then you refresh, and then it will be available to you. So this is what this is now our index page looks like in code. So there's a lot on here, and this is the fun bit. This is what I like. So it's a bit of detective hat on to find out, okay, well, what does this bit do? You see that it's clearly commented. So this part here is the header. This is the logo. This is some sort of navigation. Then here they've got features. We've got a feature here. We've got a feature there. And as you go down, we've got main, we've got content, we've got posts. So it's like, yeah, what does all of this mean? How can we identify this on our web page? So what we do, we keep our index page highlighted, and we've now installed the live server. So what we would need to do now, I hope you can see it down in the bottom right, we have this little button that says go live. So this will create our local server. So we click go live, and in our local server, you see here, we've got our default local host, and we have our web page. Sorry. And so this is our blank web page. So it looks a little bit easier to understand than just the code. But again, how can we relate back to our part here back to the code? So what we can do in Google Chrome, that we can actually click on inspect. And when we do the inspection, we will see the different elements. And as you can see, as we hover over the different classes and the divisions, we can see different parts highlighting. So as we scroll down our page, you see here, this part is highlighted. So this is a feature, this is a banner, we got a main article here in this one, so we can identify this part as our main. And just to show how that would look back into VS Code, so I'm going to do a split window, so it may go a little bit tiny, but what I want to do is now go up to the top in our Visual Studio Code, and maybe I can just pull this to the side so we have a bigger. So if we look here,
Jonathan, since you are modifying the index code, the HTML code, by the way, it's useful to mention that even the inspector itself, it's editable. That means if you want to check what will happen if I change anything, and you will check it live without changing the index, the real file components or values that you have, you can check everything in the inspector, change any value that you have, any header, any title, IDs, whatever. And we will see on the Google Chrome how it will look like. So this is the inspector. In the old versions, it was called developer tools. That means it will help you to understand exactly how to modify your design. So it's a very valuable tool. And really, it's very dynamic, and it's helped you to understand a lot of things.
Yeah. Thank you. And so here we're just looking at now the title. So the title is actually going to change. So as you know, when you're scrolling on your tabs, you see this title. So the title will change that. So we see here we've got the title strong. So you could change here. This is just an example. So we can change this to, you know, yeah, let's put let's do Guy's page, right? And then what I like about this bit, so we put this change in, but you don't see it changed yet. But as soon as I save this, the standard Control S.
But who is Gia?
Oh, yeah, that way then.
My brother-in-law. Okay.
Yeah, typo. So as we directly save, the changes reflect straight away. So, and here you can put a heading. Yeah, you can put anything in here that you would like. So we can. This is here you start to learn HTML markup. So anything between a H1, H2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're general headers, which will give a heading type font, and then anything between the P is your paragraphs, and that can be general text related to yeah, what you'd like. So you could do a little description, so to say. So now I'm going to save this again, and then it's changed straight away. So you can, as Guy mentioned, you can do here, search for your elements, and you can also change in here to see what it would look like. But here is a good way to try to identify what is happening in your code, so you can relate your code to the final web page. So before I go, anything, questions from anyone? Anything need a bit clarity here? No.
Jonathan, I'm guessing that because of the nature of these, you never really need to touch the JavaScript unless, in fact, that would just get hard because you would then be changing the actual functionality of the page.
Yeah, correct. The only thing that you would change is the style sheet. Yeah, so which we can go into in a little bit. And so what we can do, let me see here. So we've now saved this file, we've created a change, and now you can see that we now have a different version from what was on GitHub to what's on what we're now editing. We see that we have two different versions. And in the top right-hand corner, we can close this. We can then say, click on Open Changes. And then directly here, you can also see what you've just recently changed versus what was already in your GitHub. So you can see different changes that you've made. So you can always go back a version if you find that the page is not displaying correctly, that you've made a change and you can't remember what you did. You can always come back to your original or the latest version, compare it and correct it if you need to. So that is another powerful part of having the revisioning with GitHub as well.
Now this is, I just want to clarify, Jonathan, and I'm testing my own understanding here too. When you did that right here, this is just comparing with your Git history and your .git directory.
Correct.
Okay. And but if you did a commit now, you wouldn't be able to see this.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
One thing I would encourage, I mean, you can always go download the original from HTML5 up, but these templates that you download, if you put them in a safe place, that way you can compare the original to what you've done. Yep. I'm not saying you couldn't do that with Git. It's just that sometimes it's more expedient to do things like that without Git, just by maintaining an original copy.
Also, I am, please, Jonathan, sorry for that, but I want to know, let's say, to mention this because, for example, if you are not familiar with any person is not familiar with the HTML and how it will work and how to modify on it and what's the meaning of all of these tags, there is some tools you can use to design your page and it will generate the HTML for you. Now, there is some, for example, bad consequences for that, but with the personal profile, there is no bad consequences. Now, to do that, you might use, yes, maybe you can show us something about that, Jonathan. And also there is Dreamweaver, Adobe Dreamweaver. I don't know if it's still working or not, but I think, yes, it's still working. And it's a great tool that everything will be visualized and then it will generate the HTML to you.
Yep.
So you can also modify your template in the way that you want. But personally, when I'm working on HTML, I prefer not to use the Dreamweaver. Okay.
Yeah, what you see is what you get. Yeah. So yeah, so to familiarize, I've on a real quick and easy way of understanding your HTML. W3 Schools is really offers it really laid out, really simple, and step by step. So if you want to see different parts or different components, so here you can see that what your open and close your tags are. So here you've got your title. So it's always with a slash title as a close, and or slash h or slash body or slash div. With a slash is always a closing, and without the slash is an opening. So then anything in between will get that format or be assigned to that that tag. So I really do like this website, W3 Schools. So it goes into basics, into different elements. So your headers, your paragraphs, and then even starts going into attributes if you want to have a link here. So you can create a link yourself. So this is definitely one place to go for some basics. And then there is another one as well. So yeah, it's all in here. Really good, really good.
Tom,
Yeah,
I think
George,
you have a question.
Yeah, Jonathan, real quick. Avinash was asking, which extension is giving the comparison of what has changed? Can you show him that again?
Yeah, so it's all in, it's just standard in VS Code. As soon as you connect to Git, you just have an icon for open changes.
Just show if you'd show those steps to him again, I think that's important.
Yeah. So we've got the file that's selected, that we have it indicated the M that we have a change. And then in our top right-hand corner, we have the open changes. And then as soon as we click that, it opens the comparison.
And this is between now and the last commit, correct?
Yes.
There you go.
So then what you can do, so if we've got here, you can create another page yourself. So you could create a copy of a page yourself. So let me just take a different, so I like this. We'll just copy this one from mine, and we'll just paste it in here. And we've now and we now got here the elements. So the elements, this is it's a new file. So, but what we want to do, maybe we've got a button or somewhere that we want to click. We have an icon that we want to assign to this HTML, to this elements. So a lot of it we can cheat. We can do cut and paste features as well. So which is really good, unless you want to type it. It's as well. So we can take we'll take an image. So this is an image here. So in our feature, so A is saying that I want it to be a hyperlink to a new page, or to a new a new page, a new picture, for example. And then we have the image source. So the images, it's referring to our images folder and our picture 01. So we've got picture 01. This is what it looks like. And here it's not referencing to go anywhere. So if we want to link to another page, we can just, for the hyperlink reference, we can just put in here our elements. And again, what I love about VS Studio Code, that it already knows that I have this this new document created already, so it will auto-fill or give the suggestions as you start typing. So then we now have this link. So when we save this, So I've saved that, and we'll find picture 01, or should have done this picture actually. So pick 01. Did I?
Yes, Tom. Or it's the previous one. I don't know. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Shouldn't need to do that again. Okay. Right. So it has loaded up my other page, but because the style sheets I'm linking to is something different, so that's why it looks horrible at the moment. So I'll go back into my own one in a minute, and then we can go through my portfolio and we can show a bit more some differences. But this is the basics to get you set up. So as you see here, we're referencing to the elements page, and here you see here we've got elements as a title. So what I want to show now in here, so this is our page, and when I click on this, you can see already by just checking your title that it has loaded the correct page that you've referenced, but it looks out of place because it has a different style sheet. So I can go into that also with you guys. So the style sheets is like a global format for all these different div classes that are mentioned. So all these different classes that we have within our page should be identified in our style sheet. And one thing I like about the templates that we get from the website is that I'm just going to scroll up. All the style sheets are named and commented. It have really good comments, so you can understand where we're going on it. So if I go back on the main page, and then also here, so this is a background has white, and again, it could be that you have a little another investigation to finding out which, because there could be several background definitions within your style sheet. So it could be a little bit of investigation. And what you can do, I like this as well. When you hover here, we get a color selector, and then we can select the color, and it also gives you the hex code for that color. And then when you save it, your style sheet, it will update. It does an auto refresh on your page as well. But it's you can do the investigating part, looking for all your code. That's the only time consuming part that I find, is that you need to do the inspection and then look through your style sheet to find, because it is quite big. I mean, a lot of this is doing your responsiveness now. You see here this sort of thing. When you see this is defining dimensions for web, for a tablet, a phone, desktop, laptop, different screen sizes. And then here, certain images, image classes will have different aspects, different sizes. So it's you just need to explore the style sheet, and this is the hardest bit of it all. That I find is trying to bring your style sheet to understand where your changes are happening. So some of it here is these are icons. You got different forms overall. So, but as you start making,
sorry, just Jonathan, if you go to the inspect once again. Okay, after your question, Tom, I'll speak. Tom.
Actually, Guy, please going, because I had more of a discussion point with Jonathan.
Yes. Here, Jonathan, and the bottom side of this screen, yes, here, you can find for each element what is the current value and which class of your style sheet it's affecting that. So immediately you can, if you want to make any modification also, to get the name of the class where it's affected. For example, the background color, which one from these elements.
Yeah.
No, it's not only you are able to change here. The most important, you will know exactly which class and which file of the style sheets file, cascading style sheets, it's affecting that. So you can go directly and modify it according to the inspector. So the inspector also, it's helping you here.
Yep.
This is just as a reminder.
Yeah, pro tip. Thank you. So the experts of Guy shined again.
No, sorry.
No, it's awesome. No, I also learned something. So yeah, so there we go. So you can then relate back to your style sheets and bring the different changes into your web page. So,
Jonathan,
okay,
I wanted to have a discussion with you in front of the family, and I want to make it clear. I'm kind of stealing Dennis's pre-soup time chat and in Ngozi's corner because they're not here today. But here's the point I wanted to discuss with you in front of the family. The HTML stuff that you've copied is like the nouns, right? I mean, there's a grammar to web page development. The style sheets are like the adverbs and adjectives. But the JavaScript, that all the cool stuff that JavaScript's doing, and really, it's really appropriate to talk about the style sheets as adverbs because they actually give us a little action, don't they?
Yeah.
But it's the JavaScript that's super powerful and gives us all that dynamic stuff. But there's another element here. It's kind of like the transformers of this. Even if, Jonathan, you are going to get into, say, a web framework like Django or Flask or one of the others, even in the .NET realm, where you're templating these pages and they're created on the fly for a user that visits your page, you'd still want to start from this stuff. This really does a lot of the heavy monkey work for you, doesn't it? Using HTML5 up, and then I again, this is a discussion to see if you agree with me based on your learning. I've learned some things too, but I don't think I know quite as much about this as you and Guy. But the little bit of work that I've played around with, and this is fun, it gets into the full stack where, again, when you go to HTML5 up, you really want to pick a theme where you're not spending too much time changing these things in the style sheet. Okay, I just want to see if you felt the same.
Yeah. So definitely depend. You know, it could be a template that's out there. You think, oh yeah, I really like that, and then when you start playing with it, it could end up being really, really complex.
Yeah, and it will eat up your time, whereas you could have just gone to a template like better. But the point being, this doesn't preclude you using templates like Jinja 2, where you can dynamically create all this, but it's with this framework. So all these can still be done, not your index HTML, of course, but all the other ones that could be created by Python code on the fly. Okay, cool. And if y'all don't know what we were just jamming about there, don't hesitate to put questions. But basically, there's a whole realm of where your web pages are created dynamically, but it doesn't preclude using the powerful stuff that Jonathan is showing us this morning. In fact, you would want to leverage from this kind of stuff if you were going to do that kind of work. You agree, Jonathan?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. And yeah, it's a whole new realm as well. It's interesting as you get into it as well. But what I want to do now is just bring up the a new go live on my web page, my portfolio. I know it's not the best, but what I want to show Well, it's the best to me, but I know it could be improved in some ways, maybe about selling myself a little bit more, but it's just the initial form that I had out there, an idea that I had. And this was actually one of the easiest templates to work with. And there's a few things that we can do to bring in your learnings to your portfolio. So one of them is GISTs. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of GISTs yet. So it's what you can create snippets of code, and with that snippets of code, you can create GISTs, and you can bring those GISTs directly into your web page. And I will show you on this one. So I created a GIST of the README file for the ML pipeline. And I will show you here in the GISTs. So here is the GIST, and we can put snippets of code or more code. So it's your GISTs, github.com, and your username. You can keep them a secret or throw them out more publicly. And what we can do, so we take this one as the example. We're going to view our summary. And what we have here in the top right hand corner, we have a link that what we can copy. So we want it an embedded one. So we copy this, we click on the copy, and we just, where do we want it on our page? So in this page, I wanted it just sitting here. And we just paste it in. We just copy, paste, and that will then allow us to see that GIST within our web page. So you can use it on all different types of, you can use a README, you can do code snippets as well. So if you've ever been, and if you've ever been wondering what different things, when you see this on a web page, when you've been looking and you see this hosted by GitHub, they're actually using the GISTs, and you can create different snippets. So if you want to go through a bit of detail on your code or share your code in your portfolio as well, you can use the GISTs. That is one way. The other way.
Okay, just first, I have to say goodbye to George because he leave the session. He will thank you, Jonathan, from his side. So I have to say it to him. And also, Tom, is there any other question or it's the same? I don't know. Okay. So thank you, Jonathan. You can continue. Sorry.
And as well as the GISTs, you can also have your Jupyter notebooks as a HTML format as well. And when it's a HTML format, you can, I've got here, so I've got some HTML formats. I've got some PDFs that I wanted to share in my portfolio. So if you want to show a bigger project, you can do your GIST and talk through it. You can do your whole port as a GIST. And the other one that you can use as well is what we call, there we go. Yeah, so is what we call an iframe. So we can use the iframe in two different ways. So it's like a frame, a scrollable frame within your page. It can be used and it can have some strange effects if you don't have everything set up correctly. It could be too small. You might have a lot of scrolling, so you have to define the heights or keep it as a percentage of your page. So I can show an example of what that would look like. So I can go home, and then we'll take this one here, and then this is, so I also have here, if I click on this link here, it will load up the repo with all the files as well. So you can not only link back to your own repo where you've got the project stored and files if somebody wants to download the files to have a look as well. But you can also display your project, and the hyperlinks within your project work also.
So, Jonathan, there is one question from one important person. He ask you, do you put YouTube links in iframes?
You could do. You could do, yes. Yeah, you can put quite a few different links in your iframes as well. So it's not yeah, what you want in it, it's up to you.
Jonathan, I had one question here. You have copied the HTML to a project folder inside this parent folder, right?
Correct. So let me just open it up in GitHub. So yeah, so I have here. So I have it. So I've created a projects folder with the HTML of the notebook.
Okay. Instead of this, can we link it to the project directly, which is there on our GitHub?
On your GIST, create it as a GIST is going to be I think is going to be your better option.
But the way you mentioned, like we can have a link to a Jupyter notebook.
Yeah, so create that. So what we do, this is where we go back to VS Code. It's really awesome. So install an extension again. I like the GIST pad. And what this will do, again, directly connected to your GitHub account, you can create a GIST of code. So this is the notebook. And what I've done, I've just created it as a GIST. And the GIST then will become available here. So in GitHub, in gist.github.com, your username, and then here you can see your GIST. And here we'll take a zoom in. And then this is your notebook in HTML, all laid out HTML format. And you can, to link directly to this, you can just copy in this top right-hand corner, the script and paste that into your HTML. And then when you open your web page, this will be visible.
Okay. So if I make changes to my notebook, it would automatically get reflected there as well.
If you've got it in VS Code, as soon as you've created something as a GIST, you can save it and it should directly change.
Okay, because instead of HTML, this way would be better, right? Like if I change my code, I don't have to keep on updating my HTML level.
Yeah, so at the end of a notebook and in the console, if you've installed the library MB converter, you can convert a whole notebook to a HTML file straight away. That's one option. The second option, if you're working in Colab, you'll notice here that we've got here open in Colab. That's because I can show an example as well. If I come into my drive, and I'll take this one. Yeah, let's give it a name. And what we've got here, you've got save a copy as a GitHub GIST. Okay. So if everything has gone correct, there you go. It's now as a GIST. Okay. And then we can just go in, we can copy this, and we can drop it into our page. So just for this sake, I will take it. where do I want it? Menu, new. Maybe I just put it here. Let's see. And then I will just take a quick look at this, see if it's worked. There you go. It's now on my web page, and it's scrollable. And it has its own scrollable window because I've said I want the whole thing. Or if you're again going back to your web page, if you've got different dimensions, or you've got a restriction on a particular part of your web page, you can extend that. Take that restriction of the width and the height off as well. So then it extends to the full page. But yeah, it all depends how you want your look to be. So with really simple automation from Colab, from your local to GitHub, really quickly bring it into your portfolio. And then as you make changes on your in Colab, for example, and you save it again, you can keep it overwrite the same gist, so then it will always update straight away on your web page. So you don't need to keep going back to your web page to update. As soon as you updated it, your gist, it's available directly on your portfolio.
Okay, so we have to remember this step, or else my code is advanced and my portfolio is not advanced.
Yeah, but you can save as a new gist as well. Yeah, so it's really nicely interconnected with each other to quickly get new projects or something else you want to tell your story about to other people, to your audience, or to whoever. And it's not only limited here. I believe I haven't tried it yet, but I believe you can also bring the gists also in. If you're a Medium post writer, you can also bring gists directly into Medium as well, to share your code in an article if you'd like as well. So there's a lot of possibilities with your gists. So that's
just one question from Natasha. Is it from Jupyter to GitHub? It's the same from Colab to GitHub because we are using the guests, or what?
Jupyter to Git. So using, I wouldn't know that to be truthful, because I'm not using Jupyter notebooks directly, and I really didn't touch up onto anything in that direction. So could be a question that we can find out. We can definitely look to find that answer out. But in here, everything is a notebook, so to say, but I'm just creating it as a notebook in my gist pad. So yes, it is in VS Code. I could say yes, it is a proper notebook, but from Jupyter notebooks itself, I can't answer that at the moment. So we'll definitely have a look to see if we can answer that.
Okay.
Jonathan, this is Jaya, sorry. The VS IDE, is that something that is downloadable for free? Is that it is? Yeah, because I'm not used to VS Studio, but I seem to like the way you're navigating through here and the colors and so forth. So.
Yeah. So VS Code, I mean, yeah. So we again, you can look at it as you can use it as your IDE, and you can use it as notebooks as well. You can put in the extension, and you've got your notebooks. You can do it as a normal, your normal IDE, or you can use it as a notebook.
I see. I see.
So
and it's called VS IDE. If I do a Google search,
just do VS Code. VS Studio Code, or VS Code, and then you will get it. And then you've got a little bits setups to do, but if you need help, give us a shout, or refer back to Tom's repo, because he's got a really great video on how to set it up and the environments. But if you get stuck, just shout out.
Awesome, thank you. That's super helpful. Okay,
And
because what I use is normally Jupyter Notebook, and then I go back to Sublime Text to do some coding, and I kind of go back different tools, and this seems like it's all like in one place. Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's like someone asked in Slack, and I just think it's an explorer on steroids.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Because you can just go fluidly between everything. You can also do show markdowns. You can have markdown previews, and also in here, just to show it a little bit more, you can not only bring your images, you can also bring up, if you've bring in the extension, you can bring up your PDFs as well. You can bring up Excel files, CSVs, everything. So it's just and easily adaptable to what you want to use. So that was looking at the GIST snippet. So what I want to show now, how easy.
And that GIST is in, you imported its link into an iframe, correct? Did I lose track there? No.
So the GIST is, we just copy, I just put it in between two, it was here, it was in between, might have to do Control Y. Yeah, so I just put it in between the two P's, or wherever you want it on your page. So you could do it anywhere on your page you want.
But it is an href link. Yeah.
It's a source. It's a script. It's a source.
Thank you. That's what I was looking at the questions and missed that. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's a great way to already show some of your work. And then if you've got it automated in this way, so when there's an update, you save your GIST, it's already available to be visible on your portfolio or wherever you're hosting it.
What's interesting, Jonathan, it appears that GitHub is using a unique identifier and converting it to JavaScript. It's doing all that heavy lifting for us.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay. So this is on my local, so I don't need to worry about that. And then another way you can look at, I mean, this is just something else. This was, I wanted to keep everything I'd done together when I was using the AlterX. And again, I was using IFrame. So I'll just show you what this is doing. So in that IFrame, I'm calling up the PDF. So all the projects just come up within the PDF.
Nice.
And then the PDF will work itself. So
Very
then you
cool.
can just scroll down. So how do we do that? It's not too difficult actually, he says. Again, so here we can go here. So we create an iframe where we want it to be. And we give the iframe a name, we identify it, and then in our reference and our A tags in our hyperlink reference, we tell it where we want to load. So we're saying we want the page or the book, or you can also do a page in a page or whatever you want, whatever link, but we're telling it to load in the iframe. So the iframe is defined as project load and the target is project load. So as you click those hyperlinks, it will reload the link into that iframe. So you can keep it all in one place without having to go everywhere. That is one way. And then the other way, if you're feeling really, really brave, and this is tabs. So really great. So back at the W3 school, if you like the look of this better, where you have a tabs coming along, you could literally pick up this copy paste it into your, directly copy paste it, and then have a look how it's working, and play around with it. You can just pick it up and drop it into your text, and then if you want,
you could get some prettier style sheets and such for the tabs too.
Yeah, exactly. So, and all you need to do again with it, if you want some style sheeting, you can just copy all of this style sheet and then copy it, put it at the bottom of your style sheets. So then it's all kept connected to each other. And this how-to on W3 is really, really cool. It just gives you some really great ideas on how to make something a little bit different, to make it stand out, make it be yours. So you don't feel, you can even, if you've got, you can even do a little slideshow if you wanted to, and you could just pick it up, copy paste it, and play around with the code, and don't be frightened to do it. It's how I learned this.
This is really great. Now, Jonathan, when I search on, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but when I search on Lewis Owen, his GitHub landing page comes up really easily. When I search on Jonathan Papworth, I'm not yet seeing your GitHub landing page. Is it going to take time, or?
Well, I guess Google doesn't like me. I haven't paid them enough to be at the, no, I don't know. Yeah, so maybe we need to put in some search parameters. I've forgotten what they're called now. Maybe keywords. Yeah, you can put in keywords into your HTML document, and that might help get the searches going a little bit more.
So I think that's the next thing we can help each other with, is how do we improve the SEO of our landing pages? Yeah. But
yes, the meta tags.
So good.
Sorry, Tom. Yugita, she was waiting for a while. So Yugita, what's your question?
Jonathan, did you try your Power BI or Tableau projects here, like to showcase them?
I have to still try that, but yeah, you should be able to link in directly into your Tableau or to your Power BI parts as well, so you can also link in some other features as well.
Okay.
Definitely is possible. That's for sure. I'm not going to say it's not, because for sure it is. It's just a matter of how. So once I know, I can share it if you don't find it out before me.
Thank you.
Thought, if y'all want, Jonathan, you and/or I can reach out to Lewis. He does use our Slack. By the way, Jonathan would come, Lewis would come more if it wasn't the middle of the night for him right now. And it's just a travesty that we don't have him more, but he reaches out to me quite a bit. We still speak together. And I think, Jonathan, let's kind of think, okay, how do we help the family get to the next level? But we ask Lewis, how do we help the family get to the next level by following your example?
Yeah, I mean, there are different ways that we can create it. I mean, I find this a really nice way. The applications go hand in hand. So I think the first one is get a template for yourselves. Try to go through it, but if you need help, just shout out on Slack. I can definitely help you if you would like that. And then we can look together to create it. But the first step is that so we've given you now the ingredients. You just need to cook it. so to say. But if you get stuck, just shout out, and when I'm available, I can help you within Slack, or we can do a short video call if you don't know where to start. And we got plenty of resources within the family itself, especially in the setting up the tools. We've got Tom's guide, which is awesome. If you follow that, you shouldn't get any difficulties either. You're on mute.
I should point out, I was just poking around to see how I could help further. If you're in a Google Colab notebook and you click on File, there's actually a Save a Copy in GitHub gist.
Yeah.
And save a copy in GitHub. I just now discovered that, and that is amazing.
Yeah.
I should point out, forgive me for taking over a bit here, Guy. Ngozi is here. Ngozi, do you have a corner for us today on this stuff, or are you in listening mode? It's because we always want to hear from you, Ngozi. Okay, I'm assuming. Oh, you're still on mute. Okay.
Hello, I'm so sorry.
There she is. No worries. Do you have anything that we always want to hear from you? Do you have anything to add today, sister? Okay.
Mom duty. Full mom duty today. So I wasn't in a place to make a call earlier. My daughter is getting her car sorted. Yeah, so, but I just dialed in to say hello, everybody, and I'll watch on replay what has been shared today. Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, we are. We're glad to have you any length of time you can come, dear sister.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm so sorry. I try to make sure this time is kept without any other obligations, but sometimes it's just not possible.
Of course, we understand. You'll want to watch Jonathan's replay, though. This is a good one.
Yeah, if you could post, I don't know what channel do we watch the replays. I don't seem to get where the replays are posted. Is it on the Slack channel or on YouTube?
We will add that for you. We need to follow Jonathan's good example for the family, so that we can put all the links and such there for people to find. Because what happens in Ngozi is we have the important links channel in our Slack work group, but occasionally they roll off and we have to redo them. So we're hoping to do a page like this for integrated machine learning and AI's family soon.
Yeah. So is this on Slack, Jonathan, or on GitHub?
The recording will be on YouTube, but this is on GitHub. This is my portfolio hosted on GitHub. So.
Right. Okay. I'll find you there and see what this is. But if you post what YouTube handle are we using? I'm so sorry.
No problem. No problem.
Questions. Yeah.
So it's integrated mentoring in Ngozi. You really can find it with the search quite easily. Oh, thank you, Jonathan.
I will find it.
Yeah, it's just integrated mentoring time on YouTube.
Yeah.
And Guy has been good to create a playlist for the classes and a playlist for the mentoring sessions. And we haven't started recording the tech chats yet, but we will.
All right, that's good. Okay, I'll catch up on this definitely. Gad, can see you. Hello.
Hello. Oh.
Okay.
Okay, Jonathan. I don't think there is no question right now, but anything from your side to add? Because at the end I have an announcement. I have to say it. It's very simple, but I hope it will reach to the people that I want to forward the message to them. But it is at the end. In the end.
Okay. So, and yeah, just another one here within, depending on your style sheet, you can do code snippets as well. So just look at, so if you want to do some other things, I mean, this was what I had in SQL. So I've done some examples of the code I was using. So I just broke it down a little bit, the code I was using, so you can do different parts, or maybe later I move this into a gist, so it looks a bit nicer in the formatting. But yeah, you have lots of options, and you can keep it simple but creative at the same time. And if you need, and again, if you need help getting started with the tools, give us a shout, and if I've got once I'm available, I can definitely help you out. So that's it, unless there's anyone with some other questions.
I want to be a hypocrite for a minute. You should all be doing this. Me too. I'm pointing at you, but I've got 3 fingers pointing back at myself. And I've been a little bit busy. I started to do this a while ago, but I'm going to make a confession. I would say don't start with a web framework. That was a mistake, not for your personal page. If you're creating a SaaS or something, yeah. But this is what Jonathan has shown today is the perfect way to do it. Leverage from HTML5 Up, or one of the other sites that was shared with us here by Yogita or Precious, and just get one started, even if it's just a page with your resume and your generic cover letter, or your resume and your elevator speech and your resume. I think the sooner you can do it, the better.
And just one more thing, I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but this timeline, yeah, I can go further back, but I don't think it's relevant. But this timeline is all in HTML as well, and that was just copying from the W3 school, the sample, and playing around with it. So you can also get creative in that sense as well. You're on mute again.
Yeah, very good, is all I was saying. This is great. This is, I hope a lot of people watch this replay, and they may even want to watch a couple times. And then, like you said, was it Andy, the analyst? What's his name?
Alex.
Alex, the analyst. Yeah, he does seem like he has a really good YouTube channel. And then I know Lewis would not mind any of you leveraging from what he's done too, including the AI that he uses. He didn't write that. He just, that's something that he found a while back, and he's openly shared it with others so they can use it too. But that he implemented it here is pretty cool.
Let's see.
But he's obviously, his page is broken, because when I click on these links that you're showing, Jonathan, it won't go to any of them. I'm joking. I'm joking. All right. Anything to add, anyone, including Jonathan?
No, I'll just, yeah, if you hope you've learned something today and you've got an idea how to get started. And yeah, you know, we're sharing part of my story with you, how I've got here, so you can create your own story. So
what's cool, look at what Lewis has done at the bottom. Copyright by Lewis Owen, design, HTML5 up. What is Lewis proclaiming to the world? I am constructively lazy. I did not write all the HTML and CSS and JavaScript myself. I went out and borrowed it. I think that's great.
Well, then.
All right. Yeah. Anything to add, family? This has been so good today.
Yes. At first, I want to thank Jonathan. Thank you very much. It was a nice session, and it's also covering a lot of areas. And before just anything, I want to add this, and I want it to be embedded in this session. within 3 days, we have a celebration, we have a holiday. And this is the first time in my life, which is right now almost 40 years, I spend this holiday far from my family, either my mother or even my kids. I just want to have this message embedded here. I know that I speak to him daily. We have also some activities together, but it's really for them in the future, for my kids especially in the future. Maybe they will check this video and know that I'm really missing them. Virtual meeting is not enough for me. And especially with this holiday, I hope it will be the first and the last holiday I'm spending far from them. And this is the only message that I wanted to be embedded here.
We will remember that. And remember, the little room you're looking at is the Integrated Machine Learning and AI Embassy in Germany. That's not German soil right there. Okay, I have a special request too. Next Saturday, we will skip class, and the first 30 minutes of integrated mentoring, I'm inviting you all to DS Go. That is the time period I'm speaking. And I've upgraded my Integrating Brilliance talk as strongly as I can. I've written out every word just to be careful exactly everything I'm going to say. I'm asking as a personal favor to the family, please register for the conference, attend my talk, and then show up for integrated mentoring. When I leave the DS Go session, we will start the integrated mentoring session and discuss my talk. We've talked about it before, but it's an upgrade to what I teach about integrating brilliance. I'd be very honored and feel extremely supported if you can come and encourage the rest of the family to come. I don't think I'll be nervous, but I know I'll do better the more of you that are listening. It will help me a lot. So really hope you can come. And if you don't come to integrated mentoring because you wanted to hear the next speaker, that is perfectly understandable and encouraged. All right. If there's, and thank you, Gus. I'm glad you'll be there. That means a ton. Yeah, Jonathan, everyone's thanked you profusely in the comments. And any last thing to add before we let everyone have the rest of their weekend? All right, guys.
I am just going to stop the YouTube, and we can make this, if there's anything to add, to make it free from YouTube, not registered. Okay.